Hi, my name's Peter. I'm the manager of the Wilsonville Owls Garden and Home. And today we are doing a staghorn fern mounting kit. It's a project where we mount a staghorn fern onto a wooden board. And it grows on the wooden board and we hang it from the wall. There is different kinds of staghorn ferns. It's quite a big genus, but they're all what we consider epiphytes. In other words, in the wild, these ferns grow on other plants, typically trees. They grow in the crotches of big trees in the jungle, and so they prefer to be hanging and attached to some sort of wood or board. So this one here is one that was very similar to what we're going to do today, and I did this about a year ago. Attached it to this just regular piece of raw cedar, and it's just happy. It hangs right on the wall, boop, and it's just happy growing there next to a bright window. This one here, I used a little larger container, specially made for doing epiphytes and staghorn ferns, and it also hangs on the wall. As you can see, it's a little older, a little bigger. They start out kind of entire like this, and as your plant matures, they start to divide into what we like to call staghorn. So there you have two kind of unique leaves, because they're ferns, we call them fronds. So they have our shield frond here, and they typically are round, and they're at the base of the plant, and they are sterile. What they're there to do is kind of to make a natural little cup or pot, if you will, for the plant to grow in. So they capture leaf mold and to hold water so that the roots can grow. These here are what we commonly call the staghorn. These are the fronds that are actually fertile. And as your staghorn fern gets older, you might notice it getting brown on the tips. And if you look close, it's not a bad thing. That just means it's got spores that are forming under that. So if you've got an older fern, you'll notice the backside will be covered with this brown spores. They like really bright light. They're considered a fern because they produce spores, but they like very bright light compared to most ferns. So in the house, you're going to want to put it in a fairly strong window, south window, west window. I have skylights in my bathroom, so they spend the winter up in the skylights. In the summer, these guys like to summer outside. So you've got it mounted. Find a semi-shady spot in your yard on a tree trunk. Put it right on the tree trunk. And they love to be outside in the summer, just like us. All right, so for our kit today, we have our little 4-inch staghorn fern, which we're gonna mount. And then in here, you're gonna have, let's start with the board. So this is our plaque, our board that we're gonna actually mount the fern on. And then as far as our other ingredients, we've got a couple bags of sphagnum moss. Now these you're going to want to take out of the bag and pre-soak before we do the actual workshop. And then we have our tying material. Okay, so first you're going to bring in your shield. I like to work upside down here, so I'm going to put the flat top part towards me. And you see all the little nails we put in here, the tacks. That's what we're going to be tying on. You want to get your staghorn fern here, and then your moss you have already put in a bucket of water, and it's pre-soaking. So as we work with it, we're going to squeeze. We're going to grab clumps of it, and we're going to squeeze most of the water out with our hands as we use it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the staghorn fern carefully. We're going to grab it, we're going to take it out of the pot here. Staghorn ferns actually have a pretty small root system, so we're going to take a lot of this, and if there's some roots in there, it's okay. We're going to take a lot of this root ball, and we're going to make it a little smaller because it really doesn't need all this. So we're going to tear some off the bottom like that, and so it's going to be about half as tall as it is. Now you're going to want to come and grab some of your sphagnum moss that you've pre-soaked. We're going to squeeze as much of the water as we can get out of it. Just give it a good squeeze like that. Now we're going to do what we call kokodama, and we're just going to surround that root system, taking some of this pre-moistened moss, and we're packing it around the roots to kind of create a little ball, making sure to get some on the bottom as well. And then we're just going to kind of mush it down a little to make sure it's kind of flat, because obviously we're mounting it on the plaque, so we don't want it to be a round ball like a classic tokodama. We want it to be a little bit flat. And then we're going to grab our jute here, and we are going to wrap around with the jute, and it's just going to keep that sphagnum moss in place. And it's that ball of moss is just going to keep those roots wet when you go to water it. The jute is all natural, and eventually over time will rot off, and that's perfectly fine. Now I've left myself a little end here, so I'm going to go ahead and tie this baby off. Doo-doo. All right, we got them tied off. Let's cut that. Let's cut those down so we don't see those. Okay, so now we have the roots all kind of done in a tokodama like that. So we've got our shield here. Let's decide which side looks the best. So I like this. I like this. Remember, the flat part is going to be on the top, and obviously the pointy side is going to be down. So I like this for kind of, this will be hanging down. I've got my shield, most of my shield fronds are kind of up on top, creating a natural little dish. Now I'm going to take my green wire, and the green wire we're going to attach the tokodama, moss and roots, right to the wood board. Or I guess you could call it a shield. So I'm going to start here on the very bottom here. I'm going to wrap my wire around, leaving a little bit of extra, and then I'm just going to go over the top. Now, try not to put the wire, if possible, through the actual plant, because the wire would damage the plant. So you're going to go pay attention that the wire you're looping over the moss ball and not over the actual green parts of the plant. And you're just going to kind of go around until all of your nails have kind of been used, and you feel like it's in there pretty sturdy. And you want to be pretty firm. You don't want loose wire. Okay, so now that we've got it, I'm just going to secure my last little wire there right around a nail. Now that I've got it pretty secure, I mean that's not going anywhere. That's on there. So we're good with that. So you're going to take your wire. I would take your wire and I would just wrap it around a couple times, and then go ahead and just maybe wrap it under a couple other wires just to keep it secure. And we'll do the same thing with this front one. I might even go back around a nail that's maybe towards the top, just so we don't have that ugly piece of wire on the bottom nail where you're really going to see it. Okay, so now we have the basic staghorn mounted. Now with time, this plant's going to grow over all the wire and you're not going to see it. But if you want to maybe make it a little cooler looking, we do have this copper wire here, and you're more than welcome to kind of take this wire if you want, and just kind of wrap it around too, to just give it a kind of cooler look. You're more than welcome to do that. You could kind of just go around here, maybe around the front, and it's just a little prettier look. Kind of dresses it up a little. The copper is a little better, cuter looking than the just basic green florist wire. Finish off here, wrap that. And I'm going to bring him back here and just kind of tie off that wire. So now I've got my finished staghorn fern. All you got to do to take care of this bad boy, we've got a little hook for hooking on the wall. Remember bright light, so I would situate it where it's near a fairly bright window. If you've got a skylight, even better. They love skylights. To go water it, simply get a bucket of water. I would recommend maybe leaving that bucket overnight to let all the chlorine and stuff dissipate out. And then just simply set the whole thing in there, board and all, and let it soak for about 20 minutes. Take it out, drain it until it's all dried off, and then put it right back on the wall where you found it. And there you go. Thanks for taking the time with me today to do a staghorn fern mounting. I hope you really enjoy it and you have a great plant for years to come.